What's the OA? Great question. The OA, and I'll just put it on this page so you can see too. The OA is it's kind of, oh man, there's many OAs, in a sense, the way I look at it. There's a HEX OA, which is what you generally refer to OA as. So the person that gets part of the bonuses, part of the HEX, I'm not going to explain like in detail how all this stuff works, but essentially a benevolent wallet, benevolent whale who has a large portion of the HEX supply. Then there's all the sacrifice money. Then I don't know if you want to call them OAs or sack wallets, whatever you want to call it. But to me, they're all like basically a bunch of little OAs, the way I think about it. Bunch of whales who have a bunch of the RH ecosystem coins locked up and have not sold them in a way. You can. I mean, there's a little bit of liquidity providing that happened earlier on. We talked about that before. But they're essentially looking out. I described earlier too about how they're Hexagon's best friend, PulseX's best friend. As far as benevolent whales, they're not going to like that. Like their goal, it doesn't, historically speaking, they haven't dumped. If you believe they're controlled by people who have no reason to do that because they're already rich and all this stuff, then to me, that's I literally don't even think of the OA. I have no concerns, the OA whatsoever, of ever selling or making the price of the assets go down. I've literally ruled out every single thing. I've heard everything. I know all the stuff. I know there's like a million different daughter. I know all the stuff. Recycling of all I've took all the information and I put it together and decided I do not have any concerns about the OA. I only have gratitude and appreciation that there is such an entity that, historically speaking, has done good things. And what we've been seeing kicking off in the last few days may do a lot of other cool things too, by the DAI moving around, the PulseX SAC stuff. I've been covering that a lot too. So anyways, OA has a big portion of supply of most of the coins now, and that happened during the basically launch phases and stuff, sacrifice phase, whatever you want to call it, of HEX and PulseChain and PulseX. But Inc., it did not until recently, did not have any of that, but it was also buying Inc. in addition to everything else, which is pretty cool. So the reason I show you this page is you can see the market caps here. And if you do exclude OA, which is if you believe the OA is benevolent, and again, nobody knows how many coins it owns and what it's going to do with them, all this stuff. But if you believe they're awesome, you can see the actual market cap of stuff that could be out there or is out there that isn't in the hands of people like that. And there's other big whales and stuff that, there's Godwell and stuff who's shown benevolence in many ways as well. Then you can see the true market cap. Interesting. I wonder if they're going to update the formula to include the OA in the Inc. market cap now that the OA or some entity like that owns it. You can see the market cap's much lower if you exclude the OA. So it's one of those things that when you finally realize it, if you're just looking at things by market cap, million reasons not to do that and some reasons to do it. But if you're only looking at market cap, you're just going to pass these coins. Oh, there's no way Hex can do $1. It's already a $12 billion market cap, all that stuff. If you get the real market cap, for example, or the closest thing to it from a Hexagon's perspective, it's a little bit of secret sauce there. So good question. All right, scrolling before I move on. You could say, oh, why doesn't OA burn the coins? Well, then they wouldn't be able to have any influence over the thing if anything ever happened where they need to use it. So would it be bullish if they did? I don't know. I'm sure there's some people who they see it as concerning, a large entity owning all the coins. But again, Satoshi has 1 million Bitcoin. I mean, go through Ethereum, Vitalik. You trust Vitalik? You think Vitalik's ever going to sell? You think Justin Sun, like all the people who have all, you go down this rabbit hole where it's just a bunch of either believe it or you don't. You're either okay with it or you're not. So not really. It's like I would spend like 10, 15 minutes thinking about it if I were new. And I think within that time, maybe you're going to make a decision or not. You're going to be, okay, I'm okay with that or not. Thousands of other people seem to be completely okay with it, or partially at least, because they're participating. And many of them are locking up for, 15 years, 7, 8, 10, 15 years. So apparently they're okay with that.